Now, litigation is what everybody knows best. Litigation constitutes going to court. So it's the courtroom, the grandstanding, the judge, and the jury. And you've seen it on television a million times. And there's the Lincoln Lawyer, and there's Billions, and there's all television series and shows depicting the court process. Some of it's somewhat accurate, some of it's a little bit off, some of it is, safe to say, just completely out there in the ether. Reality of the court process is that an aggrieved party files a complaint with court. They pay a fee to do that, but the fees that they have to pay to the court system are just filing fees because it's a public system. The defense then is required to appear in the case by filing an answer, and the parties go through a process that is very strict with respect to discovery, when depositions need to occur, when documents need to be disclosed, and then ultimately the parties have options to do things such as filing a motion to dismiss, a motion for summary judgment. If the case gets to a point where it doesn't resolve during its lifeline, ultimately there will be a trial. Now, federal courts tend to move much more quickly than state courts. Federal courts utilize what's called the federal rules of civil procedure with respect to how much time do I have to do X, Y, Z. When do I need to file a motion? When am I allowed to do things? You look at the federal rules of civil procedure. In state courts, you're looking at the state procedural processes and rules. So for example, in New York, that's the New York Civil Practice Laws and Rules. In each state, you generally follow the case law and the rules, the statutes of the state, unless you have a federal question in issue. And in that case, you're looking to a federal statute for relief, and therefore that federal statute is going to govern. With respect to the legal process through the court systems, what are the benefits? What are the detriments? Well, the benefits are that no matter what, when you're in court, you're going to have the opportunity to appeal an outcome. So if there's a motion that's filed, whether it's a discovery motion, whether it's a substantive motion to dismiss or for summary judgment, you have options. You can file a motion to re-argue and renew, where you go back before the court to say the judge applied the law or misapplied the facts, or there's new information. Or misapplied the law, I should say, or there's new information we wish to bring to the court's attention. You also have the opportunity to appeal. So whether that's a trial verdict, whether it's an outcome on a motion, you have a right to file a notice of appeal and then to perfect your appeal, which means you are now going to the appellate courts and you are asking the court to review the underlying case to determine whether or not there was a misapplication of the law. Now, that option, that right that you have is very important, because if it turns out that the judge did make a mistake, then there is a safe harbor essentially that allows judicial review by another layer of judges who can then essentially remand the case back down to the civil courts with an ultimate ruling. So the other benefit is that you're paying your attorneys, you're paying the filing fees, but it's not like you're paying a judge. It's not like you're paying additional fees that go to the courts for the opportunity to be heard before them. And generally, the court process can take anywhere from 1 to 3 years to get to a trial. 1 year, frankly, is a very short period this day and age, although it can happen. Federal court's better than state court, but your case can literally be languishing for 2 to 3 years before trial date is actually set. So when you are a litigant and you're considering things like this, you're going to want to, consider, do I want to take the chance of my case remaining in litigation for that period of time? If you happen to settle the case earlier on, great. But otherwise, you've got a long journey ahead. And then, of course, the dockets for public filings are public. So that means that it's possible that any litigation that's filed could show up in a Google search. We find that especially with federal court cases, they do wind up coming up from an SEO perspective. If you're going to file a case in federal court, most likely it's going to come up in some sort of Google search, and state court as well. It's just that it doesn't always come up at the top of a page one, but it's certainly something that can be searched. So certainly from a reputational perspective, it's something to consider. That's the reality. So benefits are that you can appeal and that you essentially can have your day in court and then get that option to appeal, and you don't have to pay additional fees. If you have any questions, if there's any follow-up, if you want to know more about these topics, feel free to email us or call us at 646-386-0990 and send us a note. Let us know what it is that you'd like to hear next time, because we as business attorneys are here to provide value. We're here to hopefully give everybody a general sense of the legal process and educate everybody a little bit about what the law looks like. Once again, I'm Ross Pitcoff of the Pitcoff Law Group, and I will see everybody next time.